Scouts Victoria respectfully acknowledges the traditional custodians of the country throughout Victoria where our activities take place today. We pay our respects to elders both past, present and emerging, and continue to recognise and embrace the important continuous history and connection to land and community of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim from First Moor. Welcome to this week of Scout Quest. We have a very magical online event today where you will be taught magic tricks with everyday items at our Academy of Magic online. Our special guest today is regarded as Australia's most successful magician, illusionist and escapologist, turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. I'm particularly excited to introduce to you Cosentino.
Hello, I'm Cosentino and I'm pleased to announce the Cosentino Academy of Magic. In this 30-minute virtual online interactive tutorial designed for all skill levels, I will teach you, your team and colleagues how to perform magic using nothing more than everyday household items. Now, as a professional magician of over 20 years, I will first show you how the trick or the illusions are supposed to look when they're done on stage or television. But then I'm going to break it down, take you step by step through each of the illusions. Now, by breaking down each of the components, individuals learn sleight of hand techniques that help with dexterity, fine motor skills, as well as building confidence, showmanship, and presentation skills. So, if you've ever wanted to entertain, impress, amaze, or just simply have fun, right now is your opportunity. Hello, Scouts Victoria, Cosentino here. What an absolute pleasure and an honor to be with you on this beautiful afternoon, actually, in Victoria. So, real privilege to be here. Okay, so basically today I'm going to teach you magic using everyday household items, literally things you can just find anywhere. And that's what makes this so awesome. So, a couple of little things that are going to happen is, first, I'll show you how the trick or the illusions are supposed to be done or performed, the way they would appear on stage or television. And then I'll take you step by step through the secret and the method, breaking it down. But I'll give you little nuances that help make the trick more magical, more impressive. Okay? Now, a couple of little disclaimers. The first things are that some of the tricks, for some of you, may be easy. For other people, they may be a little bit more difficult. I don't know where everybody is in terms of their sleight of hand or dexterity, or if you've even learnt magic ever. So I kind of need to find out where everybody's at. So some tricks, as I said, will be a little more easy. Some will be a little bit more difficult. If they're easy, what I need you to do is to focus on the presentation, the acting, the showmanship. If it's difficult, please don't be discouraged. I need you to work on the sleight of hand, the technique. Magic is all about practice. And the more practice and rehearsal you put into it, the better you become. So a couple of things to bear in mind, if they're too easy or if they're too difficult. Okay, with that being said, there's a few little rules for magic. The first one is you must never reveal the secret. Now, I understand I'm teaching you the magic, but when you perform the effect, people will want to know, how did you do it? How do you do that trick? Well, the beauty of it is that they don't know, and that's what makes it so wonderful. So please keep the secret. The second thing is never perform the trick twice. In other words, when people see it the first time, they'll say, can you do it again for me? Can I see it again? When you perform the trick for the very first time, they have no idea what's going to happen. Therefore, they don't know exactly where to look. They can't really catch you off guard. Okay, so don't do the trick a second time. And the third rule is really have fun, enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun. It's magic. Okay, so to begin, I'm just you don't mind, I have a little sip of my my actual coffee. I want you guys to watch this very closely. Watch. Focus on the coffee cup. Watch. The cup just seems to always, kind of float away. It's very light. coffee. Okay, that is trick number 1. Now, don't let the simplicity fool you, okay? It's because you can actually perform this trick anywhere at any time, okay? So basically, if you're in a cafe, etc. So what I need you to do is grab your coffee cup right now. So grab your coffee cup right now, or your foam cup, okay? Okay, good. All right, so everyone grab that. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to place a hole in the back of the cup. That's my hole right there. If you can see it there, okay, that's my hole right there. So you take out a pair of scissors, and I'll do it with you. Being very careful, you're going to place a hole in the back of your cup, okay? But be very careful when you do this. So place a little hole, pierce it through. I'll show you what mine looks like, just like this. You pierce it through, and then you cut like a little X or a cross, okay? So you cut up like this, just like this, okay? And back like that. So now you're placing a hole into the cup, okay? Let me show you my cup here because it's better. It's cut with more precision. So that's the little hole here. Now I'm going to show you the inside of what the hole looks like, just like that. You can see that there. Perfect. Okay. That is the hole in the back of the coffee cup. That's the first thing you do. And we won't worry about actually the coffee yet. What you will do in a moment, you'll put liquid inside the bottom of the cup. But the liquid really only needs to go to just below the actual hole. Because, of course, if the liquid was above the hole, it would fall out. But we'll get to that in just a moment. So place the lid back on top, just like this. Okay. Now, the hole to the lid is actually at the front, as in that hole here that you drink from. And the hole in the back of the coffee cup is here. That's going to be important in just a moment. Now, this is the technique. This is the presentation. I'll take it now to the top view, okay? So that's my hole right here, just like that. I'm going to place my right thumb into the back of the coffee cup, okay? That's what it looks like, okay? Like that. So we're going to switch back now, okay? I will just show you from the front. This is what it would look like from the front. Now, remember, my thumb is at the back, but the audience that you're performing for would be facing you from the front, okay? So it looks like this. Now, I'm going to let go once and twice. Now, a little subtlety here. Now, once again, it's a very simple effect, but the subtlety is this. You need to make your hands even. Now, how do you make them even? Well, it's determined by how far you drop your right hand. Okay, so I can only drop my right hand that far. So that means I'm going to move my left hand at the same distance. Because if you lift your left hand too high, there's a discrepancy. It looks weird. I'll show you what it looks like. Kind of looks too weird. So you want to just kind of even them out. So it looks like you're kind of letting go and catching it. Whoa, just like that. So I do that twice. So it's 1, 2. Now I rotate my hands around to grab the cup from the side. So I'm going to go back and show you what that would look like. So from here would be 1, 2, and then I rotate my hands around just like this. Okay, so now going back to the front, this is the position we're in. Okay, now what I do is I let go of my hands and catch the cup. And I do that maybe 2 or 3 times. So I let go and I catch just like that. And I can change the angle. So I can go towards my left. I can go towards the front. And I can go towards the right. Now, something very important here. Do not move your left hand too far away from the cup, okay? Because if you do that, once again, there's a discrepancy. I'll show you what it would look like if you move your hand away too far. It doesn't look right. See that? it looks strange. It looks a bit weird. It looks like, well, the cup's attached to your thumb, which it is. So keep your hands kind of the same distance. You can go a little bit away, just about that much, but not too much. So just like this. 1, 2. Okay. So now I'm going to rewind and go back to the very beginning. You've got your hole in the back of the cup. Your thumb is placed inside the back. Your hands are like this in this position. But of course, that's what it looks like. This is the exposed view. This is the view that you do not want the audience to see. This is the front. I let go once, catch. I let go twice, catch. I rotate my hands across. I get into this position. I let go and catch. I let go and catch and bring it back. Okay, even to the front. Now, in order to make it look like it's really floating, you need to put in a little bit of pizzazz, a bit of acting. So you kind of need to act like, and you're grabbing it and pulling it back. Now, you can hear the sounds I'm making because I really feel like it's floating away. In my mind, I convince myself it's actually floating and I catch it. And that makes it look just that little bit better. Now, another little point you can add to it. If you move your fingers as you let go, it adds to the presentation. Again, you can see we're slowly layering the effect. Something that's very simple gets layered to become quite magical. You can move your fingers. So that would look like this, just like that. Okay, what that does is it kind of distracts from your thumb. When you move your fingers, it looks like it distracts a little bit. And I kind of like that. Makes it feel a little bit more magical. Okay, now we're going to go back to the very beginning. This is what I've done here. We might get a top shot for this now. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do here. You know my hole is at the back, just like this. Okay, you can see it there. I'm going to pour the coffee or milk, or whatever you want, into the cup. Okay, now you can see that in there. Can you see that it's below the level where the hole is? It's really below, okay? So to begin, the lid is placed on the cup with the hole, that hole that you drink from, away from the hole where the thumb goes into. So that's the hole where you drink from, and my thumb is in the back here, okay? That's important because when you first start the effect, you're going to start with the coffee cup in the other orientation. So we'll flip back around now. Okay, we'll take this front, perfect. So that's your hole. When I started the effect, my hand was covering the hole because I actually took a sip from the coffee cup. Okay, now what happens is if the hole from the drinking was the other way around, when you pour it out, the liquid would come out of that hole. So that's the exposed view. I'm taking a drink. Of course, my hand is really like that. Okay, I take a sip. Now I rotate, remember that's the hole. I rotate the cup around to the back, but it looks like this. And my thumb is placed in. Okay, so that's the extra move you want to add. So hole is here, liquid's in the bottom, below the hole, fingers are covering the hole. You take a sip, really do it or pretend. You rotate the cup around. So now the hole is at the back. Okay, there's no hole here. Hole's at the back. Your thumb is placed in. In this position, you go 1, 2, catch. Bring your hands around to this position. You let go. Maybe do it 3 times. 1, 2. Wiggle your fingers. 3. Just like that. Now, you remove the lid. You rotate the cup back around so the hole faces the front, but you use your hand to cover it so they never see the hole. So the hole's back here. No hole here. My fingers cover it to turn it around because I'm going to pour out the coffee. And of course, once again, if the hole is facing the other way, this way when I pour it, the liquid will come out. So I turn it around and I pour it out, being careful not to pour this way. Because if I pour this way, the audience, you guys may catch a glimpse of that hole. So I'm pouring it like this. Then, one extra tip, you can crush the cup up so no one will ever see the hole. Place it in the glass that you poured it, and that is the effect. Very simple, very basic, but layered so that it becomes more magical, more impressive. So if you can, try and remember all those moves. The technique is easy. Your thumb is in the back of the coffee cup. It's not too impressive. What's impressive of what you build around it. So if you were to do this at, let's say, a restaurant or a cafe when we could go out, then it's pretty impressive stuff. And it's pretty easy to actually put a hole in the back of the coffee cup. So that is trick or effect number 1. Okay. So now we're going to try something a little more, well, I would call it a little more advanced, okay? It involves a packet of playing cards, okay? Just like this. And it also involves a prediction. This is my prediction. Now, I've made my prediction before we started the show, which means I've committed myself to it. I'm going to place it just down here. I'll keep it there in full view the entire time. Okay, perfect. Now, packet of cards. I want to show you that all the cards in the pack are completely different. That's important. You can see they're all different cards. Okay, see that right there? They're all different. Good. Okay, we give the cards a quick little shuffle. We mix them up. Now, what I'm going to need is someone to choose a number. There are 52 different cards in a pack. I need someone to choose a number between 1 and 52. So if we could get some help out from somebody out there right now, someone to choose any number that they like. So let's see. Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Emily, as I said, there are 52 different cards in a pack. You get to choose any number between 1 and 52. What is the number, Emily?
30.
30. Okay, so Emily has chosen 30. Thank you very much, Emily. Okay, so I want you guys to watch this very closely. I'm going to count down 30 cards. So here we go. This is number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Do we want to change our mind? No, we'll stick with number 30. That is card number 30. I'm going to place it there, just like that. Now remember, all these cards are different. And remember, all these cards are different. Now, if Emily had chosen a different number, we would have landed on a different card. Do you understand that? I made a prediction before we started. The card we landed on was the 5 of hearts. My prediction was the 5 of hearts. Woo! All right. Do you like that? Can I see some applause? I want to see everyone, see if they actually like that. This is one of my favorite tricks. Yes, do you like that, guys? It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Okay, I shouldn't really say that. I'm talking, it's my trick and I'm trying to tell you it's impressive. Okay, I love this. Okay, what I need you to do is grab your pack of cards right now. Grab your pack of cards right now. I want to see everyone with their pack of cards. Okay, I've got 2 packs here. This will be important in just a moment. Okay, so grab your pack of cards. Make sure they're ready to go. Good. Now, in your pack of cards, I need you to remove a card. Now, so that we're clear and for clarity, remove the 5 of hearts. Don't stress. If you don't have the 5 of hearts, grab the 4 of hearts. If you don't have the 4, grab the 3. So grab a card. This is going to be the card that you predict. Okay, so you've removed the card. We're saying, if we can, the 5 of hearts. Now, on your notepad, I want you to write down 5 of hearts. If the card you've selected is the 4, write the 4 of hearts. If it's the 3, write the 3 of hearts, okay? So you're going to write down 5 of hearts. You do that. Perfect. Now, to begin, you explain to the audience that you have a prediction. It's a mystery, and that you'll place it on the table in full view. What's important is that it stays there the entire time, because you don't want the audience to think that you've switched it out or someone's passed it to you or anything like that. That's important, okay? Really important. Okay, next, you've removed your card and you're going to place your selected card on top on top of the pack, okay? Now, to help you guys out, I'm going to remove my card and I'm going to replace it with the same card, but this time it's blue. That way you can keep track of it the entire time, okay? You'll be able to keep track of it now. So same card, it's the 5, but it's blue. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. But the card is placed on top. Okay, now you're going to hold the cards in your left hand like so, okay? Hold the cards in your left hand. This is what we call mechanic's grip. Okay, my thumb is on the side of the pack. My fingers are in this position, okay? Just like that. That's called mechanic's grip. Don't ask me why it's called mechanic's grip. That's just the name. But you're holding a pack of cards like this, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle the pack. Now, really interesting. When I shuffle the pack, to shuffle it, you're going to remove the cards from your left hand into your right, and you're going to slide the card off with your left thumb, just like this, okay? This is what you're doing, okay? Just like that. We'll go again to the top, get a clear view. It looks like this. My left thumb, that's this thumb, moving around, grabs the card and pulls it, okay? Just like this. That's the first thing you need to be able to do. So we'll go back. Cards are in your left hand. You place them into your right hand. Just hold them any way you can in your right hand, just like this. Your left thumb is just dragging the card across into your left hand. That's all it's doing. Okay? Just like this. You need to practice that. And the shuffle is really important. Don't be discouraged by this. The shuffle is important because you need the audience to understand that all the cards are mixed, because when you ask for a number, you want them to think or feel that if they, of course, chose any number, they could have any card, which is the case. So you need to be able to shuffle it. Now, something really important has happened here. I don't know if you noticed. The card, the 5, when we shuffled, actually moved from the top to the bottom, okay? So we're going to change another angle. You can see it again. That card, the top card, as I shuffled it, look what happened. It went into my left hand, and then the other cards went on top, which means that card is now on the bottom. That's the blue card. Okay? So, in essence, we've taken the top card and we've placed it to the bottom, and the audience thinks we've shuffled the pack. And you have. That's the first step. You need to be able to shuffle the pack, and you need to be removing your top card to the bottom. Done. Now your card is in the bottom position. You're going to ask an audience member to choose a number between 1 and 52, as I explained, because there's 52 different cards in the pack. Because some people were like, well, why between 1 and 52? Because that's how many cards there are. You can't have 100 because you don't have 100 cards, okay? When you ask for that, you're going to perform a move that we call the glide. Now, remember, you shuffled the cards into your hand, like so, and you're going to readjust your grip, so your left hand now goes on top. So it looks like this. Okay, so I'm holding it with my thumb on the right side, my fingers on the left side, just like that. Okay, so I'm just kind of picking it up, as if I'm just picking it up. All right, that's important. So you need to be able to just pick it up, because you're going to perform a move, as I said, called the glide. The glide looks like this when it's exposed. As you go to count the cards, you push the bottom card across. I'll do that again. As you go to count the cards, you push the bottom card across just with your finger. You see that? But it's done down in this position. You notice how you cannot see the card from the back? There it is. There's the card at the back. But you can't see it when I have it from this angle, this position. So you ask for the number. You push the card back because you're going to count the cards out. But what you're doing there is just sliding that card back. Now, we got the number 30. Now, for explanation's sake, to make it quick, let's say we got the number 10. Just pretend we got 10. I'm going to remove 10 cards. So it would look like this. 1, 2, 3. You notice how that card remains there? It doesn't move. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when I get to the number, I pull into position the card that I want them to select. Now, remember, it's not done like this. It's done like this. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be. Let's say 6. And when I get to the number, I move it into position. Now, in this case, you can see that it's the blue card, and you place it on top. Okay? So that move is called the glide, pushing that card back and removing all the other cards except their card until you need it. Okay, so now we're in this position. We've held the card back until we get to the number. So we got to the number 30, and I placed that card next to my prediction. And then I reinforced the effect by saying, remember, you could have had any number and therefore any card. Now, the cards really are all different. And then I show them the other pack. They're all different because they are all different. Okay? And then, of course, I showed them that they landed on the 5, which matches my prediction. And that's how you make someone select a card, and that's how you predict a card. Now, I'm going to quickly back it up one more time. Okay, so select a card. It's placed on top. Okay, we know in my case it's blue. Do not use blue. Use a red card or card that matches the color. It's placed on top. We're going to shuffle the pack. We're in Mechanic's Grip. We grab the pack from underneath here, we move it across, and we're going to slide off the cards using our thumb into the left hand. That card happens to fall first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. It doesn't really matter now, as long as you shuffle the pack. Okay? That's important. Boom. Remember, it's now landed on the bottom. Okay? The cards have been shuffled like so. You now transfer your grip, so you're grabbing it on top. If that's too difficult, place the cards on the table, rub your hands together, and grab them on top. Okay? You can find ways around it. You don't have to do it just from this position. So let's say you put the cards down, you pick them up with your left hand. Now you're going to perform the glide. You ask for a number. We got the number 30, but let's just say we got 10. Okay, you're going to perform the glide, which is, of course, pushing that card back and counting out all the cards until you get to the number. But it looks like this. So let's say it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is expose you. 6, 7, 8, 9. When you get to their card, you pull it into position. So it look like this. You place it down. You show them all these cards are different. They've landed on one card. You show them all these cards are different. And then, of course, show the card, show your prediction, and you have a miracle. You really do. Round of applause. Can I see everybody? And make sure that they got that. Let me have a look at everybody. Yay, makes sense, guys. Yeah, I like that. Very good. Okay, I like this. This is good. So it's a little more challenging. It's a little more difficult. That is true. There's a few steps involved, but when you perform this trick, I mean, this is the basis for many, many great magic tricks, okay? So don't be discouraged if it's too difficult. If it's too easy, good. Keep practicing. Now you get to work on your showmanship and your presentation. So that's the technique, the method. Then you need to kind of maybe add a little bit to it, add a presentation like I did in terms of saying, okay, so I've written down a prediction. I'll place it here. It will stay in full view. I won't touch it. I won't go near. You see how I emphasize my words? I make a big deal of everything, like as if it's the most impressive thing in the world. And I won't touch it. I won't go near it. I have a packet of cards here. They're all different. I'm going to shuffle them because I want the audience to remember that the pack was shuffled. You choose any number you like. Oh my gosh. And it landed. If you chosen another number, it would land on a different card. All those types of things add to the presentation. So remember that. Okay. Awesome. All right. I'm going to push this to the side. All right. We'll try something else now. I'll perform the effect for you first again, and then I'll break it down and take you step by step through the secret. So I have a little rubber band here. I have a little paper clip. I'm going to zoom in nice and close to you guys so you can see. Okay. So if I thread the paper clip onto the rubber band, have a look. You can see that there. Watch the rubber band. This is what I call telekinesis. That's the ability to move objects with just the power of your mind. You focus on the paper clip. Watch. And the paperclip slowly, climbs. I'm going to do it again for you guys so you can see it really closely. Watch. Just like that. Did you get that? Okay. So, to begin with, grab your rubber band, grab your paper clip, and come back here. Okay. This is what you're going to do. You're going to take your rubber band, okay? Take your rubber band, and you're going to cut the rubber band, okay? Just like this, okay? So now you have a cut rubber band, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to tie a knot in the rubber band, okay? Just like that. We'll switch back now. So you tie a little knot in your rubber band. Good. Now you flip it over and you do the same thing on the other side. You tie a little knot, so you wrap it around your finger, you tie a little knot, just like this, in the rubber band. So do that right now. Okay, so there's the knot, and there is the other knot. So you have two knots on the ends of the rubber band. Perfect. Okay, now there's a reason, a very good reason for why you need an actual knot or two knots. You're going to thread the paper clip through or onto the rubber band, just like that. And now in your left hand, holding the rubber band like this, you're going to pinch the rubber band at the knot in your left hand. Okay, so my left fingers, my thumb, and this finger here, pointer finger, are going to grab the knot. I'm holding the knot just at the end, okay? Now, I'm grabbing the rubber band from the middle of the rubber band, not the end of the knot. Not the end. I'm grabbing it in the middle, which is around about here for me. Okay, can you see that? See how there's a lot more excess of the rubber band? Okay, that portion will be covered by your fingers, okay? In just a moment. Okay, I'm going to come back just a little bit. So you stretch out the rubber band. You have half the rubber band hidden behind your fingers like this. Just like that. So that's the position you want to be in. So I'm going to go back again. So you clip the rubber band with your left fingers at the knot here. Good. You grab half the rubber band and pinch it with your right fingers here. That end will be hidden by your fingers in just a moment. They will be hidden in a moment. That's the exposed view. So I'll come back. That's the exposed view. Now, this is how it works. You stretch the rubber band just a little bit, and all I'm doing with my right finger is releasing pressure. As I release pressure, the paper clip appears to slide up, okay? It's because I'm letting the rubber band pass through my fingers. Look, watch it pass through. Okay, I'm going to do it again. You can see very clearly. Look, watch. It will pass through my fingers. Watch. Now, you'll notice when the knot hits my fingers, I know to stop. That's why I have the knot, because the knot tells me when to actually stop releasing pressure. Because if I didn't know where the end was, it would let go and flick off, okay? So I've stretched it out. My fingers are covering it. And now I tilt the paper clip on an angle. I place it down just a little bit. I tilt it on an angle, not too much. If it's like this, if it is extreme angle like that, vertical, the paper clip, it won't climb, okay? So just a little bit of an angle. And I'm going to release the pressure in my fingers and cause the paper clip to appear to climb. Okay, I'll do that with the exposed view again. That's the exposed view. I've released pressure and the paper clip climbs. Now, the presentation, of course, is this. You grab a rubber band, you open it, you then show the rubber band, you stretch it out. As you're stretching it out, you get into position. So I'm in position now. Okay, you stretch it out. You now look at it. You explain that you're going to use something like telekinesis or mind power or whatever you want to call it. I call it telekinesis. I stretch it out, I release the pressure, and I cause the paperclip to climb or slide. When I feel the knot, I let go, and I show it like that. Now, what's really cool is that you don't have to use a paperclip. If you're actually performing this out and about, you can borrow a ring. So if you borrow a ring of somebody, it's exactly the same, but of course you're using their item, which is really impressive. You place the ring on the rubber band, you show it, you can spin it around to show it, you get into position, and then you cause the actual ring to climb. So that is the presentation for this particular effect or illusion. Now, I understand, I've taught this many, many times. You're going to struggle at first with a couple of things. The first thing you'll struggle with is finding the right amount of pressure to let go. Because if you're too tight, you can't let go of the pressure. But you know what? You guys are so good with knots and tying and all those types of things. So I'm sure you guys will figure out the pressure very, very easily. But I've had people struggle with finding the right pressure. So if you're too tight, you can't let go. If you're too loose, it goes too quickly. So it's a matter of practicing releasing that pressure and getting it to move really smoothly. Okay, so that's really important. All right, my knot just came undone. There you go. So obviously I'm not a scout because my knot came undone. Okay, so once again, feeling that pressure till it hits the knot and you let go. And it is, believe me, once again, it's a very impressive trick because you're just using simple items, a rubber band, a paperclip, or a rubber band and somebody's wedding ring. Okay, once again, just want you to see it one more time. Stretching it out, let the camera focus, good. And then the paperclip climbs, just like that. All right. Can I see some claps if everyone understands what's actually happening here? Let me see everybody. Yes, good. Okay. Wow, very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Next. Are you guys ready? You guys ready? Okay. I've got a trick for you guys right now that you're going to love. Okay. So this is what we'll do. 20-cent coin. Okay. Okay, this is what I'll do. Okay. Place it into my hand just like this. I'm going to grab the pen. And the coin vanishes. Okay, this is the foundation for all kind of sleight of hand with coins or pebbles, anything really, anything. So grab your 20-cent coin, grab that right now. Okay, and come back. Grab your 20-cent coin, grab your pen, the pen you use to write on the Post-it. So grab that. Okay, now, first things first, you're going to place your pen inside your right pocket, okay? Just here. And you're going to take the coin and you're going to place it in your left hand like so, okay? Now watch this very closely. So you'll see it here, that's good, perfect. Now, you're going to take the coin and you're going to throw it, toss it, pass it to your right hand, just like that. And then you're going to pass it back to your left. That's the first thing you need to be able to do. So take the coin, place it on your fingers, your left fingers, and you're going to pass it to your right fingers and then pass it back. I need you to be able to do this and just do it quite smoothly. And I need you to understand what this feels like. What does it feel like to actually throw the coin from hand to hand? Okay? Just like this. Okay. Now what's actually happening is this. The coin is in your left fingers. You're throwing it to your right fingers. And then you're going to pretend to throw it to your left hand. You pretend. It's not in my left hand. It's in my right hand. Okay? It's very simple. But it's about making it look real and natural to convince the audience that it's really in your left hand. So it's in the coin starts in the left hand. You throw it to the right as if you're just looking at it. And now you're going to throw it to the left, but you're going to keep it in your right hand. Now, how do you do that? How do you keep the coin in your right hand? This is called finger palm. The coin is placed just here on the right hand. And as I throw it, I curl my fingers over just like this, and I keep hold of the coin. Just like that. Okay, so I'll show you from the front now. So you're going to need to learn how to finger palm the coin. Okay? Finger palm. Just like this. So that's the next thing we need to practice together. We need to practice how to finger palm the coin. Okay, so all I'm really doing is curling my fingers around the coin. Now, a lot of you have really small hands. If you do, you can change the coin. Maybe try and use a 50-cent coin if a 20-cent coin is too small. Do not use 10 cents. It's far too small. Believe me, I've tried it. It doesn't work at all. So you use a 20-cent coin or 50-cent, place it in your fingers, and now turn over your right hand, but hold the coin in your fingers. Okay, that's what you need to do because you don't want it to drop out. Okay, so the coin will be held like that and turned over. Okay, so now what have we done? We've learned to take the coin and place it into our right hand, and now we've learned to hold the coin in our fingers. So you want to practice, this is why I did it first, you want to practice throwing the coin into the fingers in the right position, because if the coin lands over here, it's going to be very difficult to actually finger palm it. Now you could do something else, I don't want to complicate it, but you could do what we call an actual palm. A palm is that. Okay, you could do that. You could do that. So if there's anyone out there who knows a little bit about magic, you could do that. But for now, you want to learn how to take the coin and throw it from your left fingers into your right fingers. Okay. Now, if it doesn't hit exact, adjust it with your thumb. Adjust it. Okay. But this process that I was showing you before, which you thought, oh God, who can't throw a coin from hand to hand? Thanks, Cos. Great. And the reason why I showed you this, things start to make sense as we progress because you want it to land in the right position, and it's really important. So the more you can get that coin to land in the right position, the better you're going to be later on. Okay. So I don't place the coin in my left hand like this because I find it hard to go from my palm into my fingers. I mean, I can do it, but it takes practice. So I've got more control of the coin in my left hand if it's in the fingers, and I have it in my left fingers like so, and I'm throwing it to the right fingers, just like that. Now you remember that process. Now I grab the coin and I pretend to throw it into my left hand, and see that quickness makes it appear like it's actually in the left hand. So now you understand those two little methods. I'm going to put it together. The coin is in your left hand. You throw it to your right hand. I reposition, see I reposition. You now finger palm it. And at the same time, as you turn over your right hand, you pretend to place it in the left like that. Now, of course, it's not in the left hand. It's really in the right hand. That timing is critical. If you don't have that timing right, the effect will never work. So that timing is this. Coin's in the left hand, goes to the right hand. You're about to finger palm it, and you're going to close the left hand at the same time. So it looks like this. Now, let's do something together right now. Everyone stop doing that. Stop doing that. Let's actually do it for real. Let's see what it feels like if we were actually really doing what I want you to do. Coin's in the left hand. Place it to the right hand. Now you place it into the left hand. It's really in the left hand. If you practice that and study that aspect of it, you'll know what it feels like when you actually perform the magic move. Okay, so let's just do it again. It's in the left hand. It goes to the right hand. Okay, and then you place it in, just like this. Now it's really in my left hand. You do that a couple of times. We'll do it again. Left to right, place it in, and there it is. Okay, now let's perform the effect. Coin's in the left hand. Place it in the right hand. I adjust. I'm going to finger palm it and pretend I'm placing it in. You see how they kind of look very similar? Now, of course, they're not going to look identical because I am really holding a coin in my right hand. But you need to simulate it to get as close as possible. Okay? So when you're going to perform the move, the fingers will curl over. They'll come close to the left hand, and the left hand will close over just like this. And then the right hand will pull away, holding the coin and making it look like it's in the left hand. Okay? Now, you're stuck like this. This is what we call a dirty hand, meaning It's not dirty because it's in the mud and you haven't washed it. It's dirty because you've got a coin in it and people might know or suspect there's a coin if you don't perform the move correct. So we call it in Magic a dirty hand. So the hand is dirty. We need to get rid of this coin. So I've come up with an excuse. Now, the excuse in this case is me diving into my pocket to remove the pen. Now, there's lots of excuses. Maybe in my case, even I could even adjust my hat and get rid of the coin. Okay, but not everybody wears a hat. So in this case, the coin's in the right fingers. We've performed the move. It's over here. I need to get rid of this coin. So I go into my pocket. I literally let go of the coin. It's what we call dumping, and remove the pen. Now my hand is clean. Okay? And now I focus all my attention on the left hand, and the coin has vanished. Okay, so I'm going to reverse it all again. Let's go back. Okay, coin is in the left fingers. We're going to do it as if we're actually making it vanish. Coin is now thrown into the right fingers. We perform the move. Pretend it's in the left hand. We dive into our pocket. We grab our pen. Okay, we show the hand. We don't make it really obvious like, hey, look, it's empty. But we just grab the pen and we kind of have the hand open. And then we make it look like the coin has vanished. Just like that. So when you put the sequence together, one thing you're going to run into is this timing issue of trying to get that right. So you really want to practice that, because what happens is that I'm not making fun, but what happens is people tend to do this. Have a look again. That's bad timing. Watch it very closely. This is bad timing. Actually, that's not too bad. That one was not too bad at all. Okay, I'm trying to do it really bad. I've spent my entire life, 20 years practicing magic, so I'm trying to do it bad. So watch. This is bad. Oh, the top angle actually looks quite good. Let's go from the front. We'll give you a bad angle. Watch. This is bad. Because the timing, the fingers in the left hand, they're too slow. They're too slow. You can't have it like this. It's too slow. So the timing needs to be like that. So it looks like it's actually dropped into the left hand. Now remember, the motion of the coin going from hand to hand kind of confuses the audience because they're trying to keep track of the coins. They're saying, oh, the coin is in my left hand. Oh yeah, it's over here like this. And then you're putting it in. You see how that quickness makes it feel more natural, okay? In the left hand, into the right hand, and throwing it across. Okay, now the coin, of course, is over here. You go into your pocket, you let go of it, you remove your pen, and it's vanished. One extra thing I want to add for you guys, because I know everyone's getting this. One extra thing. When the coin's in my left hand, I kind of jiggle it around a little bit, okay? This is kind of setting the audience up for what's about to happen. I jiggle it around in my left hand because if I get it off and I don't get it in the fingers, I can now jiggle it here too. So they kind of look similar. So I jiggle in my left hand, I jiggle in my right hand, and now when I place the coin into my left hand, I also give it a little jiggle. Now there's no coin in my left hand, but I want you to feel or think like there is a coin in your left hand. I really believe I act as if the coin is actually in my left hand. It's not, but I convince myself. That way it feels like, okay, the coin's in here. That's where the coin is. And then it's gone. So the little jiggling motion at the start in the left hand fingers, jiggling in the right fingers gets you into the right position, performing the move, then jiggling, diving into your pocket, grabbing the pen, and making it vanish. This will require practice. It's actually quite simple sleight of hand, but it requires practice to get that timing right, to get that technique right, okay? And the last thing I want to add, just a little tip, when the coin's in your fingers, I don't want to see a fist. No fist, because a fist tells the audience that there's something there. So you need to keep your hand as open as possible with a little, maybe a point of a finger, if you know, or as much as you can keep the hand as open as possible, okay? No fist. That's important. Does everyone understand that? Give me a thumbs up if everyone understands. Give me a pause if everyone understands. Sleight of hand with the coin and the pen. Is everyone, can I see everybody? How did everybody go? Oh, here we go. People are coming up. How did you guys go? Yeah, good. Thumbs up. Good. Do you know what? Tell me, was it difficult for you guys? If it was difficult, or was it okay? Not too difficult? Okay.
It was a bit hard.
It was a bit hard. It does require a bit of practice, but it is a great effect. But now you understand those moves, and you get them smooth, you'll be able to perform it. Now you guys understand that as a magician, we spend hours practicing the most mundane and simple things like passing a coin from hand to hand so that you guys believe that's what we're actually doing when we're really not. So we study, we practice a lot of seeing what human behavior is like, what you guys actually do. Yeah, so getting that, I can see people doing it now, getting that, feeling that move of tossing it from hand to hand. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Okay. All right. Now, next effect. Next effect for you guys. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Okay. There we go. That's not me going to the bathroom. Okay. Get this glass here too. All right. Can you guys see this? Okay, check this out. I'm going to pour out some water. Just like that. Put that there. Now watch. I'm going to grab my phone. Watch this very closely. Mobile phone is now inside the bottle. Okay. Whew, the secret to this trick. Well, how am I going to get the phone out of the bottle? Okay, the secret to this particular trick or illusion. It's very simple again. I have a slit in the back of the bottle. Okay, let's go to the top shot here and I'll show you what that looks like. That is the slit right there. Can you see it? Okay, I'm going to remove the phone just like that. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to grab our bottle, we need to grab our scissors. Okay, so do that right now. Now we need to be very, very careful. We need to puncture a hole in the bottle. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut a hole all the way up, the hole in the bottle, like this. So do that right now. Okay, it will take a little bit of time. Do it straight. Cut a hole. As you're doing that, listen carefully to me. You're probably saying, well, how big is the hole? Okay, the hole needs to be big enough to be able to take the size of your phone. Okay, so the slit needs to be big enough. And you need to make it slightly bigger, just slightly bigger, okay? Now it's making a lot of noise. Can you see that? Okay, it needs to be slightly bigger than your phone so it can slide in. Slightly bigger, okay? So take the bottle, take the phone, measure it up, cut the hole, and you'll see how big it needs to be, okay? Now, I can't exactly tell you how big to make it because I don't know what kind of phone you have or if you're borrowing a phone of somebody else. This is my phone. I have a super large phone, okay? Which is why I have a large bottle. So if you have a smaller phone, you can actually use a smaller bottle. That makes sense to you guys. Okay, so hopefully you've cut a hole in your bottle right now. So you have water placed inside your bottle. Now, the hole that you cut, you need to leave just a little bit of room at the bottom. In other words, don't cut it all the way down to the very, very bottom. So mine finishes about here, okay? So you can see I have this much more room. I'll hold that there for a couple of seconds. You can see that's where my cut is. There's all this room around the bottom. That's because I'm going to place water into the bottle and I'm going to stop just before, let that focus for a second, just before the hole. So remember, that's my hole and the water is just below it, okay? So now you're doing this as a convincer for the audience that the bottle is real, because if the bottle had a hole in it, the water would fall out, wouldn't it? Right, so step by step, your hole, your slit is on this side. Your fingers will cover it from this side. It won't cover the whole slit, don't freak out. The cut from mine is still up here and still down here. Okay, but you can't really notice it. And if I pull back, you've got to, it's very exposed view with the camera. If I'm back further like this, you'll never see it, okay? So what I'm doing now, I have dirty water. I'm taking the bottle, remember the slit is on this side, it's up here, and I'm going to pour out the water. just like that, okay? That's to convince the audience that it's a real bottle. Now, just like with the coffee cup, this is why we started with the coffee cup. The slit needs to be rotated towards the back. So you're going to turn it around like we did with the coffee cup. So the slit is here, just there. When I turn it around, the label will face you at the front. Good, and now my slit will be at the back, okay? So that's the slit at the back right there. So to begin, I poured it out like this. I came down, the slit's now facing you, and I turned it around to face me from the back, okay? Of course, it looks like this from that angle. Now, this is the simplicity of the effect. All you're going to do is push the phone into the bottle. It's that easy. I'll show you the exposed view. I'm literally just pushing the phone into the bottle. Now, a little extra tip. To help you do that, I use the thumb of my left hand to actually open up the bottle, just like that. So my thumb is opening it up, okay? It kind of helps it. I'm kind of creating more room, okay? So from the back, this is from the front side, this is what it would look like. The phone is here, I push it in, and the phone goes straight in, just like that, okay? It's probably easier for me if I take my case off again, okay? Because it will slide easier. Now I'll do the exposed view. Phone is here. I open it up a little bit. I take the phone and I literally just push it in. That's much easier. I had a rubber case on my phone, and I should have remembered to tell you that. Take that off because it slides much easier when it's on the actual phone. I've learned that the hard way. Okay, would have made the effect more impressive too. Okay, so the phone is here. My thumb is at the back. I push it open and I slide the phone straight in. Now from the front, they don't see the slit and they don't see it go in. So it's like this, and it's in, just like that. Now you'll notice a couple of extra moves I added. When I push the phone in, I shake the bottle because the shake takes away from the slide of the phone going in. Once again, it's these little nuances that make the effect more magical. So when I push the phone in, I just don't push it, I shake it at the same time. I'll do it again. Look, here's the phone. My thumb's at the back. I'm about to push it in. As it goes in, I shake. And it looks much more impressive. Now, the phone is inside the bottle. It's covering my head. You can't really turn the bottle around. I mean, maybe you can't really see that anyway with the slit, but yeah, there you go. You don't want to show the audience that side. So you kind of want to just shake the bottle around if you want to show the front of the phone. You don't want to turn it. And that is the effect. You can't reverse it. You can't take it out in front of the audience. You have to leave it like that. So if you're using somebody else's phone, well, their phone is stuck inside the bottle. So I suggest you actually use your own phone or your own device or whatever you might have. You don't have to do it with a phone. You can do it with a packet of cards too. That is in essence how you perform the effect. I want to go through it again, okay? So you've got your hole here. Your fingers are on at the front like so. You pour out your water, which means the water slides down this way, not where the hole is. That convinces the audience. Or you take a sip. You now rotate the bottle to the front. So now the slit is facing you. You take the phone. You now have your thumb in the right position, which is here. Okay, thumb is here. You're going to push the phone in, but remember, when you push it in, you're going to also halfway shake it. That's going to do two things. It's going to take away from the push, and it's also going to help you get the phone in. Just like that. Okay? And now the phone. Oh, that's good because the phone's on. I like it when it's like that. The phone is inside the bottle. And then you have a great souvenir, if you borrow your parents' phone, that will stay like that for a long time. Don't do that. Don't do that. So that's the phone in bottle. Okay, so very quickly to recap this, all the effects. Some of the effects, quite simple, making a coffee cup float, putting a phone in a bottle, work on your acting, work on your presentation, work on a story, come up with a reason why you're even putting the phone in the bottle, okay? But don't let the simplicity fool you. these tricks are still really powerful. I know because I've done them on TV. I've done them absolutely everywhere. So the coffee cup, this particular one, simplicity, acting, showmanship, presentation. The card trick, on the flip side, don't be discouraged. Work on the moves. It's worth it because the card trick is very powerful, and it's really just a foundation for so many other tricks you can actually perform, that particular card trick. Because remember, I don't want to confuse you in here, but you don't have to predict the card, because what you could do is you could have someone choose a number. Remember, you're making them select that card, get them to look at the card, and then you could pretend to read their mind because you already know what card they've selected. So I don't want to confuse anyone, but just so you understand, that trick has got many building blocks to perform wonderful tricks with. But get the technique down. Don't skip any moves. Don't eliminate the shuffle, because the shuffle makes the effect more baffling. So don't get rid of that. And also, you need that top card to go to the bottom, okay? Because I know what some of you might think, well, why don't I just start? Why don't I actually just start with the card on the bottom? You can do that. You can do that. But I think it's better that you actually do the shuffle, okay? So that's really important too. Okay, and now also the rubber band and the paper clip, work on the technique of sliding it through your fingers. That's really important as well, okay? All right, so they're all kind of tips and nuances. I also suggest that if you can, record yourself, or when I started practicing, I learnt by looking at myself in the mirror. I understand everything's reversed, but watch yourself in the mirror and you'll be able to see where the moves are going wrong and what you need to actually clean up, etc. Okay, so with that being said, we're now going to jump to questions. I know a lot of people probably have a lot of questions about the tricks, maybe have questions about my profession, what I do. I'm going to answer them as best as I can, as honest as I can, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Okay, so we've got some questions. I think
I'll read them out
you're going to jump to you, right?
Kim Dixon, what is the biggest audience you have performed to, and where is the coolest place you have performed?
Kim, really good question. The biggest audience, I think, well, indoor audiences, they're about 2,500 seats in the theaters that we perform, but we've done outdoor venues, the Melbourne Grand Prix, Singapore Grand Prix, where it's been about, I don't know, maybe 6,000-7,000 people. So they're probably the largest audiences. Once you get bigger than that, magic is very hard to perform, because even you can see here, you've got to get really close and get everything on, so everyone can really understand and see what you're doing. So that's important. And I think the second part of it, what's the coolest place? You know what? I've performed all around the world. My last TV special that I did, I performed all throughout Southeast Asia. So we went to Singapore, we went to Kuala Lumpur, we went to the Philippines, we went to Taiwan, and I got to perform for different people, different cultures. And some of these people, not even speaking English, and yet the magic translated, because you don't need to be able to understand English to realize that you can put a phone in a bottle. So maybe I think a really great experience, the coolest place was Southeast Asia. I know it's really broad because that includes, Indonesia, Vietnam, but my TV show in Southeast Asia. There you go, Kim.
Caitlin Redmond has just asked, was doing I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here fun?
It was. Doing I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, it was fun, but it was difficult. What you got to understand is we really are sleeping in the South African jungle. We're really outdoors. There's really scorpions and spiders, and the hardest thing was the lack of food. For me, and this is, I'm not exaggerating, they would give me one mushroom a night. That was my meal, my protein. Now, that was okay for a week. And you have oats in the morning. You don't really have much for lunch. And remember, if you don't win tasks, you don't get fed. By the end of about a week and a half, I lost about 5 kilos, and I don't really, I'm quite small to begin with. So it was fun, but it was difficult. The food was really challenging. And then they make you go, rock climbing and trekking through the bush and the forest. And when you've got no fuel or energy, it's very difficult to do. All you want to do is sleep. So that was challenging and mentally challenging, but it was a great experience, really great experience. Actually, I reckon you guys would do it easy. Yeah. Cold showers. I wasn't a big fan of cold showers.
Pereira. When do you start magic, and how long did it take you to perfect magic?
I got interested in magic or involved in magic when I was 12 years old. Now, I have an interesting story. I actually couldn't, believe it or not, I actually couldn't read until I was 12. And I learnt magic through books. There was no YouTube. There was no Google. We couldn't do it like this, which would have been so wonderful to learn magic. You guys are so lucky, so blessed. So I didn't learn how to read. My mother was a school principal, and she would take me to the library to try and encourage me to read. And the last place a kid who can't read wants to be is the place where they have books. So my mother tried to encourage me to read, and I stumbled across a book called the Encyclopedia. Well, it was actually a book about magic. It was called The Complete Book of Magic. And it had these beautiful pictures and posters of very famous magicians. But because I couldn't read, I would look at the pictures. My mother saw me looking at the pictures, and she came over and asked me, what am I looking at? And I pointed to a picture of a famous escape artist, very famous back in the day, called Houdini. So we took the book home. She read these stories, these adventures, these escapades of Houdini to me. And I listened. I loved it. But more importantly, in the back of the book, it had magic tricks, very difficult tricks. And my mother would read the tricks to me. And by looking at the hand illustrations in the book, I would understand what I was reading, and I learnt magic with my mother teaching me, but more importantly, I learned to read. And that was the key. The key wasn't just listening to a story. The key was participating, being tangible, kind of like what we did today, like actually practical hands-on. Give me 2 seconds. I won't go out of frame, but you'll see. Look, this is the book. You can see here. I'm going to take the book out for you guys right now because I love this book. So in the book, it has all these famous magicians, pictures of very famous magicians. This is what attracted me as a kid. But in the back of the book, look what it has. It has magic tricks. Yeah, we can do the top view anyway. So yeah, have a look at this. So that's what this book was. And I learnt the tricks by looking at this and basically having my mother read them to me. Like that. So quite difficult learning. And that's how I started magic at 12. And I realized that I was actually quite good at it. The first time I was actually good at something. And I kept practicing and I got better and better. And then this little hobby, this became my passion. This passion became my career. But it all started with that book. Yeah. Good question.
Awesome. Shrida. What is the hardest trick you've ever performed?
The hardest trick wouldn't even be a trick. It would be an escape. I was inside a Perspex tank bubble, and I was handcuffed, chained, and locked. And I was dropped in a little drain, but 10 meters under the ground in water. And being chained up and dropping 10 meters, holding my breath and picking the locks, I ruptured my eardrum. I actually blew my right eardrum. And this was right before my television special. So the whole stunt, escape got cancelled. And that was the most difficult. It took a lot of training. I went back a year later and did it, but it took 6 months of preparation to train myself to do it going 10 meters deep, which is a lot of pressure on the lungs and very difficult to do, very, very challenging. But that's probably the most difficult. It was called Anchored. So if you look up it was called Dropped, the original Dropped escape. Anchored was another escape I did in 2010 in the Melbourne Aquarium with 60 kilos of concrete to my feet. I'm thinking about that because that was difficult too. But this one was called Dropped. So look up Dropped. You can Google that.
Geez, that sounds pretty hard, doesn't it? Yeah. Carl, what is the greatest thing you have ever seen while traveling around the world?
The greatest thing? Oh my gosh, there's so many wonderful things. So it's a great question. So many beautiful things. Okay, let me, because we're learning about magic and we're talking about magic, I'll relate it to magic. Once again, what I discovered by going through Southeast Asia was, in this particular TV show, I was performing for people on the streets. I was doing stage magic. And in the show, we had everyday people that you would meet in the streets that couldn't speak English and I would perform for. Sometimes there was even homeless children on the streets that I would perform for. And then other times I was performing for the Malaysian princess. And what I learned was that it didn't matter what trick I performed. So I could perform the same trick for some child on the street who was homeless and perform that for the Malaysian princess. And it had the same reaction, meaning it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you have, what your background is, social, economic, or whatever it is. Magic has got that appeal, and that really was the greatest thing that I could see with my own eyes, relating it to my profession. I mean, it was really beautiful to see that reaction amongst those broad demographics. But you can probably already realize that I'm so obsessed by magic that everything revolves around magic. So I guess you're probably wondering about, have I seen mountains and waterfalls? Yes, many beautiful things like that. Even on I'm a Celebrity, we would go to the waterfall. It was beautiful in South Africa, seeing it come down. But for me, relating to my profession, I think that's the most the greatest thing.
Yeah. Miller, what piece of advice would you give your young self? That's a good question.
That is a great
that's a hard
question,
one.
Miller. Okay, there's lots of things I would tell myself. Okay, this is really, really. First off, I would say to myself, everything's going to be okay. Everything will work out. My father is a structural engineer. My mother's a school principal. So I came from a very kind of strict educational background. I went to private school my entire life, and then I decided to be a magician. Okay, to set it up. Now, I have a quote on my wall in my office that says, "Sometimes I pretend to be normal, but that gets boring, so I go back to being me." Now, it took me 22 years to understand what that means. I spent such a long time trying to appeal to different people. So, for example, back in the day when I'd try to get a show or a gig, I'd send out a videotape, and the agent, the manager would say things like, "Oh, your hair's too long, you should cut it." And so then I'd cut my hair. Then I'd send it out to the next person, and they'd say, "Oh, your hair's too short, you should grow it." So then I'd grow my hair. I would work with birds and doves, and I would do a dove act, and they'd be saying, "You don't work with animals, it's not good." So I'd stop working with animals. And the next agent would say, No, you should be working with animals." So my point being, I was very confused, and I got all this different advice of different people, and I didn't really know whether I should have long hair or short hair, whether I should perform with doves, whether I shouldn't, whether my costume should be black and yellow or black and red. In the end, I did what I wanted to do, because I realized that not everybody's going to like everything, because not everybody likes vanilla ice cream. A lot of people do, but not everybody likes it. The moment I decided to be truthful and honest to myself and be myself, in other words, sometimes I pretend to be normal like everybody else, but that gets boring. So I go back to being me. I go back to being who I really am, who I want to be. Long hair, dreads. Then success came my way. So the advice I would give to myself in this long-winded story is be yourself.
That's awesome advice. That's awesome advice. Oh, that's interesting. What are those trophies in the background?
The trophies. Can I move? You want to see? I'll move the chair so you can see. These are, if you can still hear me, I'll grab one.
I certainly can.
Okay. These are, in the magic world, we call these Merlins, as in Merlin the magician. These are our Oscars for magic. Every year, they have a magic competition where your peers, other magicians, award the magic awards, the Merlin Awards. So we have 4 of them for most original magician. They're all different trophies for different aspects of magic. So that's what these are. They're the Merlins. And I don't know if you can see these ones. These ones are from when I was a kid, when I was like 12, different magic awards. And that's Dancing with the Stars. And the other one is gone. And behind me, I used to have my Dancing with the Stars shoes, and I also have my I'm a Celebrity gear over there. So all the stuff that I've collected over the years. So that's what those trophies are. Yeah, on the top one are different ones. Yeah. So all different awards.
Yeah. If you were put on the spot with only the clothes on your back and the things in your pockets and told to perform a magic trick, what would you do?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, We've learned a lot of tricks today using just everyday items, so you can carry them anywhere. I would always have a pack of cards in my hand, so I could perform a card trick. Or I'd have a 20-cent coin in my pocket, so I could perform that. I would probably perform a card trick or a coin trick. That's kind of what I would do. if I didn't have a jacket on or anything else on, it would be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult. But even being I'm a celebrity, I didn't have much. I only had a pack of cards and a few things. So that taught me to be quite creative. But I would I would make the coin vanish. That's what I would do.
That's a good one. Have you ever been seriously injured in a stunt?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, okay. So I'll tell you what has happened. In that particular escape called Dropped, I blew my right eardrum, ruptured it. I had my head inside a Perspex box with 18 kitchen knives filmed before my TV show, and I missed the knives were coming down. I'm supposed to get out before they come down, and I mistimed it, and I ended up with a knife hitting me. I had 12 stitches in my chin. You can see it. This is not pretend. This is not me trying to elaborate. You can see all that. You can see me being stitched up. It was in my TV show. I ended up with 7 stitches in my forehead from an underwater escape. Another one, cracked 2 ribs and broken ankle. So things have gone wrong. I've been in the emergency room a few times. Sounds like I don't really know what I'm doing, but I do know what I'm doing, but things go wrong because when you're holding your breath underwater or you're hanging upside down from burning ropes and you're wriggling to get out of a straitjacket, you can snap your ankle. It happens.
Yeah, it makes it all the real, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This will be the last question. What is the most embarrassing thing that's happened during a live show?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been pulled out. I don't know if it's embarrassing. I've been pulled out of water tanks live in front of an audience, but I'll put that to one side because that's not super embarrassing. That was just, it is a little bit, but that was very dangerous. I actually live on stage had to be pulled out of a tank in front of an audience, and that was quite crazy. But the most embarrassing was I'm going back almost to 2008, years ago, and I've learned this lesson. I was on stage performing, and I had very, very tight pants on, jeans, and the crutch split when I was dancing. I danced in the show, and the crutch split. And unfortunately for me, I had very bright undies on, and the audience could see my jocks. So now, 2 things we've learned. A, don't wear bright jocks, and B, always have a spare pair of pants just off to the side of stage. Believe it or not, if we were to just tilt the camera, I have a pair of pants no, I'm kidding. I don't have, no, because I'm sitting there. I'm only joking. I'm sitting there. But I do always have spare pants on the side of stage because if you split them, sometimes these things happen. We do lots of lifts and the escapes are very dramatic and it's pretty embarrassing. And I'm not talking a little split. I'm talking about like the whole pants being ripped. So we learnt that and hopefully that never happens again. Touch wood.
Yes, indeed. Now, before we finish, I have one final question for everyone. What do Merlin, Houdini, and Doctor Strange all have in common?
Merlin, Houdini, and
they
Dr.
wish
Strange.
they were Cosentino.
Oh!
Thank you,
You're very
Cosentino,
kind.
for being our magical tutor. Scouts,
Absolutely.
I hope you all enjoyed the tutorial and learned something new. For next week, we are showcasing 3 more online events. We have a Q&A session with Olympic bronze medalist diver Annabelle Smith, Wednesday, September 2nd. We'll be holding a beginner's yoga class for Joeys and Cubs, but other sections and adults are more than welcome to join in. This will be on Friday the 4th. And on Saturday the 5th, we'll be having another Q&A with the members of Team Scouts Australia, who recently competed in the world's toughest race, Eco Challenge Fiji. Here's a short video to get you a bit excited.
How amazing was Cosentino? My name's Mile and I'm excited to tell you that next week, myself and the rest of the team who represented Scouts Australia at Eco Challenge, the world's toughest race in Fiji, a 671-kilometre course through jungle, through mud, oceans, climbing waterfalls, used all our scouting skills to get us to the finish line. Stay tuned during the week and we'll let you know how you can ask us questions on how we did it. See you next week.
"66 teams from 30 different countries have descended on Fiji.
I have no clue what to be afraid of. I'm about to find out.
To compete in the world's toughest race.
The course is relentless, so every step is a victory.
We came here to show the world who we are.
To make sure that those people who feel underrepresented feel that they have a voice.
I am a tough chick, and I'm proud of that.
I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. To do this race with my dad is a priceless experience.
We wanted to prove that the girls in India are strong and they can achieve anything.
This is not a normal adventure race. 671 kilometers. Mountains.
I don't mind climbing, I mind dying.
Jungles.
I need help!
Rivers. Ocean.
4 hours of sleep in 4 days.
And it is brutal.
It's so hard.
It's the first adventure race that I have the feeling of arriving to a limit.
We can handle anything that comes, because we're in it together.
This is the closest we ever get to being superheroes.
But that's still going. It's a real testament to grit.
Is there anything else, or?
Oh, well, I'm not sure. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who joined us today. Really appreciate your time. I hope you actually learned something. I hope you've had fun. Keep up the practice. You can drop us an email. You can send us a video and show us how you guys are going. But thank you so much. And guys, always believe. Thank you very much.